G'day. Welcome to this EduDay 2021 session, bringing the inclusive classroom into your school. I'm Troy Waller. I am the accessibility lead for Microsoft Australia Education. I'd like to start with an acknowledgement of country. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Boonwurrung people, traditional custodians of the land on which I sit today, and also those where you sit as well. I pay my respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people tuning in today. I have a really good job. I am a former teacher, an educator, so I come at what we're doing today with an educator's perspective. But I really enjoy what I do because I get to work with students, I get to work with teachers, and I get to work with entire peak bodies like education departments and Catholic dioceses, in sharing with them how to use the Microsoft tools that they already own, that are already accessible to them, and how to use those to build an inclusive classroom in your school. We have an amazing impact in what we can do for schools and for students alike, and we really see kids growing and moving into areas that they wouldn't be able to move into if it wasn't for the technology that we make available to them. What we're going to do today is I'm going to start with an overview of the Universal Design for Learning. Then I'm going to give you an overview of the inclusive classroom. So we're going to look at how we support in areas of reading, writing, maths, and speaking and listening. But most importantly, what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through and I'm going to share with you all our resources around the tools to help you not only learn how to use the tools in your own classroom, but also train other teachers and train students for what it's worth, and even training parents and caregivers as well. So I'm going to give you a description of these resources, and then I'm going to help you work out where to find those resources, right? So there's going to be lots and lots of links in the presentation that I give today, and you'll be able to access those links specifically through this link right here, which is aka.ms/edudaytroy. So what I'm saying is you can go to this link here, aka.ms/edudaytroy, and you can download my slides, and inside those slides are all the links and bits and pieces I'm going to share with you today, so you don't need to write them down. All right, so it's going to be lots of content. Don't feel you need to keep up. Just remember you can access the video later, but also more importantly, you can access the links and the slides at the link I just shared with you, aka.ms/edudaytroy. So let's get started, shall we? Our mission is to empower every person and every organisation on the planet to achieve more. And I've underlined every person there because it is about every person, not just the mainstream, not just the the larger group that sits in the middle of everything, but those people that are out on the fringes as well. And so the story for the inclusive classroom to note is that that's Satya Nadella on the screen there, and Satya has his own children who have challenges and who have difficulties. So when he stepped into arguably one of the most powerful software companies on the planet, if not the most powerful software company on the planet, he actually brought a real emphasis on inclusion and a real emphasis on equity and also education for what it's worth. So Microsoft as an organisation has a culture shift towards inclusivity and towards equity, and it's not just business, it's not just spin, it's genuine impact and genuinely changing people's lives. And as I said, I really take that quite seriously, and I know a lot of other people that work in Microsoft do as well, and I'm sure you do as educators, and I'm sure lots of people in your school that take it very seriously. So again, thank you for being here. So let's talk about the inclusive classroom. Now, first of all, I just want to make a couple of points to you. Up to 50% of instructional time can be lost to managing students' needs, and including assistive technology. The other thing is virtually 100% of schools in Australia have students with identified learning difficulties enrolled. Okay, so again, we're not just talking about people in special schools, we're talking about teachers everywhere, we're talking about schools everywhere, we're talking about students and families everywhere. About 20% of students in Australian schools require inclusive education support. So that's 1 in 5. All right. So that's, you think you've got a class of 20, that's a good chunk of your class that's going to need support, let alone a class of 30 or a class of 35. And then lastly, 25% of Australian students are from a language background other than English, right? So, whether we're talking New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Darwin, no matter where you are, you are going to be faced with students that need some language support. So the other thing I want to steer you towards is what's called Universal Design for Learning, or UDL for short, okay, not to be confused with Spirit in a Can. UDL, Universal Design for Learning, is about making your learning engagements more accessible to the students that you work with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a little video which talks about UDL. You can access this stuff at www.cast.org. www.cast.org. You'll see that come up in a minute anyway. So let's go in and watch this video, and then I'll come back and have a bit of a chat with you about this.
This teacher needs to meet a curriculum goal, and she's got a very diverse group of students. And so does this teacher. And this one. Most do. In fact, research shows that the way people learn is as unique as their fingerprints. What does this mean for teachers of today? Classrooms are highly diverse, and curriculum needs to be designed from the start to meet this diversity. Universal Design for Learning is an approach to curriculum that minimizes barriers and maximizes learning for all students. Whoa, that's a fancy term. Universal Design for Learning. Let's unpack it a bit. Let's think about the word universal. By universal, we mean curriculum that can be used and understood by everyone. Each learner in a classroom brings her own background, strengths, needs, and interests. Curriculum should provide genuine learning opportunities for each and every student. Now let's think about the word learning. Learning is not one thing. Neuroscience tells us that our brains have three broad networks. One for recognition, the what of learning, one for skills and strategies, the how of learning, and one for caring and prioritizing, the why of learning. Students need to gain knowledge, skills, and enthusiasm for learning, and a curriculum needs to help them do all three. But every learner is unique, and one size does not fit all. So how do we make a curriculum that challenges and engages diverse learners? This is where the word design comes in. A universally designed building is planned to be flexible and to accommodate all kinds of users, with and without disabilities. It turns out that if you design for those in the margins, your building works better for everyone. Curb cuts and ramps are used by people in wheelchairs, people with strollers, and people on bikes. Captioning on TV serves people who are deaf, people learning English, people in gyms, and spouses who get to sleep at different times. UDL takes this idea and applies it to the design of flexible curriculum. UDL goes beyond access because we need to build in support and challenge. So how do we use the UDL framework to make learning goals, methods, materials, and assessments that work for everyone? First, ask yourself, what is my goal? What do I want my students to know, do, and care about? Then ask, what barriers in the classroom might interfere with my diverse students reaching these goals? To eliminate the barriers, use the 3 UDL principles to create flexible paths to learning so that each student can progress. Number 1, provide multiple means of representation. Present content and information in multiple media and provide varied supports. Use graphics and animation, highlight the critical features, activate background knowledge, and support vocabulary so that students can acquire the knowledge being taught. Number 2, provide multiple means of action and expression. Give students plenty of options for expressing what they know and provide models, feedback, and supports for their different levels of proficiency. Number 3, provide multiple means of engagement. What fires up one student won't fire up another. Give students choices to fuel their interests and autonomy. Help them risk mistakes and learn from them. If they love learning, they will persist through challenges. And remember, always keep in mind the learning goal. Get rid of barriers caused by the curriculum and keep the challenge where it belongs. And that's it. Okay, quick recap. Show the information in different ways, allow your students to approach learning tasks and demonstrate what they know in different ways, and offer options that engage students and keep their interest. Universal design for learning equals learning opportunities for all. For more information on UDL, go to www.cast.org.
Okay, so why I'm introducing you to UDL is because if we're going to bring the inclusive classroom to our school, this sort of framework for applying the Microsoft tools, etc., is really important. Okay, so I want you to think about this stuff, and remember, I'm giving you these slides. I'm also, linking to the videos and all that kind of thing as well, because to start the whole conversation about the inclusive classroom starts with the whole UDL framework. All right, so the UDL framework is about the why of learning, that is engagement, and it's also about the what of learning, the representation. And then finally, it's about the how of learning, that is action and expression. And what CAST have done with the Universal Design for Learning guidelines is they've actually showed this whole list of things that we should consider when building out our lessons and building out our engagements and our assessments, etc., to making sure that we're hitting as many students as we possibly can. And you can see there, you can access these at udlguidelines.cast.org. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this. Man, I have a hard enough time delivering the curriculum to all these other kids. How in heck am I going to, deliver all this to on top of my curriculum as well? Well, the cool thing is Microsoft's tools will actually help you hit a lot of these requirements, right? So for example, offering ways of customizing the display of information, right? So students can actually determine the way it's displayed. Alternatives for auditory information. I mean, already, hopefully you're thinking Immersive Reader. Alternatives for visual information. Okay, so things like audio, etc. Clarifying vocabulary and symbols, syntax and structure, that's totally Immersive Reader. Decoding of text, mathematical notation and symbols, so things that we can do with OneNote, etc. Now, I'm not going to go into this. I'll let you download these slides and go through and have a look. But so much of what we've actually got by putting our learning engagements into Teams or into Microsoft 365 means that a lot of these boxes are already ticked. Over here, this stuff is really more about philosophy, okay, and the way that our schools run. But over here is where we start to look at our actual learning engagements. You can see a lot of these things will actually be ticked if we're in Teams or if we're in the Microsoft 365 environment. Now, another thing I want to share with you, there is a great online course on Universal Design for Learning. It's absolutely brilliant. It's made for teachers. So please, when you download these slides, you can click on the link at the bottom there and you'll be able to access this course, right? So again, I'm not sitting here today saying I'm going to teach you all about Universal Design for Learning. No, I want to give you resources, all right? So this is a fantastic course for you to do and also for you to steer your staff to. All right, so remember, the starting point is UDL. So let's talk about the Microsoft Inclusive Classroom. We want to give students more personalized access to their curriculum. We want to optimize the educator time. We don't want it to be a burden to educators, and we want to ultimately improve learning outcomes, right? So we want to see our students increase in independence and experience a reduction of stigma. Now that's really, really key. Okay, so we want to make sure that they're using the same software as everybody else in the room, the same devices as everybody else in the room, and that reduces that stigma and also, as I said, increases the independence. We want to make sure that educators are more empowered to engage every learner so that the technology is going to take us to places that we couldn't go without the technology. All right, and then lastly, we want institutions to build reputations as positive places that promote equity and inclusion. So that's for your school leaders and your school community. By switching this stuff on, by making it available to the students, your school's going to get a great reputation, all right, as being equitable and inclusive. So the inclusive classroom is over these 4 areas, and I know Mike, went on today about some of this already. You notice I've actually changed the language a little bit to be more aligned to the Australian curriculum, right? So we talk about reading support, we talk about writing support, we talk about math support, and lastly, we talk about speaking and listening. Now, if you think about it, 1, 2, 3 of those are literacy, and this one here is numeracy, right? So we're dealing with core curriculum. Now, where we start of course, is Immersive Reader. I'm going to give you lots of links and lots of places you can go and find out all about Immersive Reader if you missed that. But Immersive Reader does amazing stuff for students, all right? So that's the starting point. But the second point, of course, is Office Lens, all right? So Office Lens is built into your iPhone and also your Android device. It's into your iPad and also your Android tablet as well. Immersive Reader is now built into Office Lens as well, all right? So that's something to visit your Play Store or your App Store and download. Immersive Reader also now sits inside Edge, the Edge browser. So download the latest, greatest version of Edge, and you'll see Immersive Reader is there to help you with your websites, okay? But in case you didn't know, we've also moved Immersive Reader into forms. So when a student is doing a form as an assessment or a survey, not just a student, anybody, of course, they get the Immersive Reader to read the questions, read the potential answers, and then they're able to input them themselves. We've also got Outlook. Right now it's in Outlook for the web, and Immersive Reader is coming very soon to the full version of Outlook for your Windows 10 app as well. So that's going to make a huge difference for the way that the teachers can communicate with the students and vice versa. So it's inside Minecraft Education Edition as well, so keep an eye out for that. And of course, it's inside Teams. It's inside the Teams chat, it's inside the assignments feature, and it's inside a whole heap of other things that are also inside Teams. All right. What's just been announced yesterday is that Immersive Reader is in PowerPoint as well. So that, keep an eye out, that's going to be coming very, very soon. All right. So it's right across a whole heap of tools. It's not just living in Word. It's not just living in OneNote anymore. Okay. Now, this is where I want you to start, all about Immersive Reader, aka.ms/Immersive Reader. There is also a link on here when you access the slides, but it's aka.ms/Immersive Reader. This is an absolutely brilliant page for you to go to. I'm going to pop up into the page here, and you can see what we've got on this page. We've got a video explaining Immersive Reader. We've got some PDFs that you can download. There's also an Immersive Reader demo that you can steer people to. There's a whole heap of information. There's that stuff I was talking before about the inclusive classroom, the availability of Immersive Reader, where does it live, what platforms, etc. And then there's a demo, again, as I said before, that you can go through. There's a whole heap of videos, quick grabs that you can share with your staff. There's case studies and a whole heap of stuff in there. All right, so please have a look at that. That's aka.ms/Immersive Reader. Second thing I want to draw your attention to is what we're doing in writing support. Okay, so the first thing that we look at when writing support is Dictate. So Dictate is now native to much of Office and also Office Online or Office in the browser. All right, so you can go into your tools and you can start to dictate. Your students can dictate. Make sure that you are running the latest, greatest versions of the software. Please don't be on Office 2013 or Office 2016 and be asking me where it is. Just make sure you're running the latest, greatest versions, which I'm sure that your school owns. Just push to have that released to you, all right? But Dictate's the starting point for writing. But the other thing that we've got is Editor. Okay, and again, by the way, I'm going to share some videos so you can do deep dives into these tools, all right? But Editor is amazing. Editor sits inside Outlook, it sits inside PowerPoint, it sits inside Word, and Editor will do more than just spell check. It will actually give you lots of assistance for critical things that need to be fixed, as well as helping you to determine optional things that need to be fixed, you know, making formal language, inclusive language, these kinds of things in your documents. So if it's been a while since you've had a look at Editor, maybe you still know it as spell check, I promise it's taken steroids, it's been working out during lockdown and it's huge. There's lots there for you. All right, so remembering that Editor and Dictate and Immersive Reader together in these tools can be really quite amazing. Now, this one here is a walkthrough on some of the inclusive writing tools that we have. So you can look at this or you can steer your staff to this if you want to train them, and that's aka.ms/inclusive writing demo. And remember, of course, that you're going to get these slides and all these links will be active in there for you as well. Now, when it comes to math support, right, if you haven't seen the math tools in OneNote, they are phenomenal, really, really good in terms of tutoring, the ability to input, and of course, when using a stylus, it's just phenomenal. And there's a walkthrough on that as well, and you can find that at aka.ms/inclusive math demo. Please notice there's no S there in maths, but please, I want you to explore that and walk through that, and you'll see all the amazing things that you can do, and then you can steer families to that and students to that so they can learn how to use that as well. Okay, now when it comes to speaking and listening, really the piece de resistance is translator.microsoft.com. Now I'm just going to come back into my web page up here. I'm just going to close some of these down. And I want to take you into here. Now, if you haven't seen Translator, Translator is just amazing, the stuff that it can do. It works amazingly for the deaf, not just for EAL students and EAL families, all right? Again, I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you links to videos that you can go in and explore this and do a deep dive, but I wanted you to see that here at translator.microsoft.com, if you click here for education, there is a whole heap of resources in there and a whole heap of advice, etc., for you to actually start to roll this out in your school and to your students. Advice on the correct headsets to wear, advice on how you can use this for presentations, for parent-teacher conferences, study groups, one-to-one conversations. There's some amazing videos in there for you to access. It's really, really very cool. All right, so that's translator.microsoft.com. And when I got in there, I looked for the For Education button, which was back on this page here. Okay, so we're at translator.microsoft.com and For Education. But again, the links will be in the slides. So when you go into your Windows settings, look down here, there's the Ease of Access Center, all right? Now the Ease of Access Center is amazing because what it's done is it's taken everything that is going to make your device more accessible and it's put it into one place. So no longer do we go over here for, it's for visual settings and over here for audio settings and down here for mouse settings and down here for, display settings, etc. It all lives in this one little spot here, Ease of Access. So you can change the narrator, the magnifier, the contrast. You can see here that I've done things like I've changed my mouse, knowing that I'm going to be doing a visual presentation. So I've changed my pointer to be teal and nice and big, things like that. It's all done in the one spot, which is called the Ease of Access Center. All right, so I want to encourage you to explore that and tell your students, tell your families all about it. Here's where you go to make your device more accessible if you're on a Windows 10 machine. Now, the other thing that we've got is Microsoft Accessibility, and that is a landing page for you. It's really easy to find, but I will share that link with you again in the deck. But I want to draw your attention to one thing in particular, which is called the Disability Answers Desk. Now, the Disability Answers Desk at this page here, when I scroll down, all right, you see there's video support and video resources, but come down here to Windows and Office Accessibility Support. Look at this. There is a phone number, okay, 1-800-280-300. That's an Australian phone number available from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Now, there is a real person on the end of that call and they can give you advice and take you through your settings, etc., to improve your Windows machine and to improve your Office experience, all right? So they're not a help desk, my machine's not working, but what they are is I want to make my device more accessible because I'm visually impaired, or I want to make my device more accessible because I have dyslexia. I want to make Outlook more accessible. Can you talk me through these things? Okay, so that's brilliant. So if you're on the spot with a student at school or even after school, the parents can call that number there, 1-800-280-300. But also we have a 24/7 chat, so it's a real person at the end of that chat as well. So if you call outside of hours, you can still talk through someone. So again, I will share that link with you. And it's there, aka.ms/accessibility support. Okay, so aka.ms/accessibility support. I know I'm flying through this stuff, but I want you to be able to access it later and then take your time and explore it. Now, the other thing that I'm going to share with you when you download this is the Microsoft Learning Tools availability page. And And that's got everything, all our accessibility features inside Office, what is available on what tool, on what platform. So it doesn't matter whether you're coming in on a Mac, a PC, an iPad, or an Android device, it's going to tell you which of these features are available in which tool, on which platform, and where. All right, so that's worth its weight in gold, especially when you're trying to think about what can my students do, what can't my students do. All right, now I want to help you redefine what's possible in your school. So we want you to spread the word about the Microsoft 365 Inclusive Classroom, okay? So that's whether it's on Windows 10 or whether it's on a Mac, as long as you're using the Microsoft tools, we're here for you. But we want you to tell these people, okay? And I'm going to share with you some resources, some other resources to share directly with those people. So first of all is the students. Make sure that the students know how to access this stuff, but your colleagues as well, other teachers, aides and ES staff. Oftentimes those support staff, they're actually there on the ground with students they need to know. Support professionals, and by support professionals, I mean those people that visit your school once in a blue moon, the occupational therapists, the speech pathologists, the psychologists. Make sure that they're aware of this as well, okay? And again, I'm going to give you more resources to do that. Principals. Principals can be your greatest ally, but they can also bottleneck things as well. So make sure that they understand the value of this as well. And also parents and caregivers. Don't be afraid of the parents. The parents can be your absolute ally in getting this stuff rolled out. Okay, we look at something like Code Red Dyslexia Network, which started as a group of mothers who started to push an advocacy organisation, and they're off, off and running and doing amazing things, right? So mobilize the parents in your school as well. All right, next thing I want to talk to you about is my webinars. Okay, so it's aka.ms/TroyYT, aka.ms/TroyYT. Okay, so this is my YouTube page. I've got a number of different playlists, but one in particular I want to share with you is the accessibility and learning support. So when you get to the page, you scroll down, it's the second playlist listed there. And here is where, if you want to do a deep dive into some of these things I've talked about, this is where you can do so. Okay, so the first one that's there is the Microsoft Translator for Education. So we've got a 41-minute video there with the program manager from the Translator team who comes in and talks to us about all the applications for education. The other one is the Inclusive Classroom Part 1, which is reading support using Immersive Reader. Nearly an hour's worth of content there showing you how to use Immersive Reader and where you can find it. The other one for writing support, okay? So the Inclusive Classroom Part 2, 40 minutes worth of using Editor, Dictate, Immersive Reader, etc. And there's a whole heap of other things in here as well, social and emotional learning, accessibility and inclusion in remote learning, whole heap of things that I've actually put there for you on my YouTube page. So again, that was aka.ms/TroyYT. Now, another one, and I know Mike spoke about this today, which was great, the special education and accessibility resources for remote learning page. Don't be put off by the remote learning bit, because obviously this stuff carries on well after remote learning. So if you're back at school, this is still the page for you. And that's aka.ms/MEC accessibility. All right. And this has got absolutely everything. You'll see down here, we've got information for teachers. Okay, information around connecting with students and parents, models of instruction, creating accessible content, etc. But when you scroll down here, here's stuff directly for students. Okay, so there's the reading, writing and math stuff, executive function, mobility, hearing, etc. Whole heap of really good information all on this one page. If there's only one thing you're going to take away today, let it be aka.ms/MEC accessibility, because this is our one-stop shop. All right, but there's a whole heap more stuff on here as well. Stuff for parents, accommodations, etc. You'll be there all day, I promise you. There's some really, really good stuff in there. All right, so that's that as well. Now, how else can I, and remembering it's not just for you, it's to share with your colleagues, all right, inside the school. The other thing is, of course, the Microsoft Educator Center. We've been banging on about this all day, but education.microsoft.com, there are some wonderful courses in there for you. If you go into that page, do a search for inclusivity, you will find, or just inclusive, you will find so many wonderful courses and groups of courses around using these tools to train yourself, to train your colleagues and your peers. The other one, and again, I'll share this link with you when you download, but there's a whole heap of Mike Tholfsen videos and other things, not just on my playlist, but his, so you can access those as well. Okay, now I know I'm talking at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but I'm just thinking I really want you guys to be able to access this and see everything that's available. So I'm going to take a breath. And now I'm going to tell you about the teacher training packs. So aka.ms/teacher training packs. aka.ms/teacher training packs. All right, I'm going to show you a video first to tell you about the teacher training packs, and then I'm going to drill down to the inclusive classroom ones. All right, so this is all about teaching staff in your school.
Get to know teacher training packs. Hi, and welcome to Microsoft Education's teacher trainings. Raise your hand if you're an IT admin, school administrator, curriculum coach, or a teacher who helps others develop new skills. Cool! We want to make it simple for you to deliver high-quality trainings that pair what's happening in the classroom with our technology. Here's how. These trainings are written and tested by teachers and experienced teacher trainers. Everything you need to deliver the trainings can be found in one place. Except for making a copy or two, the work is done for you. Each option is tailored to the amount of time you have to present and includes suggestions for how to cover different grade bands and subject areas. Our content meets ISTE standards and can be easily adapted to address diverse classroom scenarios. And we've designed resources for teachers to use long after the training has ended. Plus, every course is free and ready to use now. Just browse our offerings and select the resources all at once. Or pick and choose what you need. Because we know that teachers and school leaders crave collaborative training experiences and don't always have time to plan them. So, what's inside? Each teacher training course includes a presenter's package with an adaptable slide deck, including instructional videos, a plan to guide you as you go, and emails and checklists to take care of all the details. The participants package includes handouts to help teachers keep track of their learning, plan ahead, and implement tools and classroom strategies the very next day. Plus, a collection of resources for teachers who are eager to learn more or need a little extra practice. Everything you need in one place, written by teachers for teachers. Thanks, teachers, and the people who support them. Find more how-tos and teacher training at support.office.com/education.
So when you come into the teacher training packs page, you scroll down here and you've got inclusive classrooms. There are 3 courses that are there that are absolutely brilliant. Now let me show you what they look like. First one is mobile tools, second one is literacy tools, and last one is interactive instructional tools. Now you saw there everything that you need to run PD in your school. You can adapt it, you can make changes to it, make it more relevant to your environment, but it's all there for you already. You don't have to reinvent that wheel. And so when you click on one of them, you come into the course. You can see I've already completed this, but you can download, once you start the course, if I click here, take the course again, all my packs and everything that I need is available to download, instructions, everything is there for you, all right? So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So my advice to you is go explore these, see if it's something that your school might want to actually run PD around, that is the inclusive classroom, and if there is, then you don't have to reinvent that wheel. Okay, so again, mobile tools for inclusive classrooms is one. That's a 1.5 hour PD that you can run. Literacy tools for inclusive classrooms is a 4-hour PD. And then the last one is in interactive instructional tools, which is an 8-hour PD. So obviously you can break that down and break it up if you want, but there's a lot of stuff there for you to train others. Okay, so when the kids get their hands on these inclusive classroom tools, and then they go home, well, we need the parents and the caregivers to be able to support the students as well. So what we did was we built the Inclusive Classroom Parent Kit. And that's got detailed instructions and scripts, a PowerPoint deck, links to videos and resources and handouts, etc. And the link for downloading is there, aka.ms/ICPK. Now, let me tell you about what this is. It is a full resource kit for you to run an information session for parents and caregivers on how to access the Inclusive Classroom tools at home, so that students can use it when independently at home. They can use it when they're doing their homework. They can also use it when working with their parents. So what this isn't is it's not a kit to give to the parents. It's a kit for you as an educator to run an information session for parents, whether that's face-to-face or whether that's remote. So you've got things there like the PowerPoint kit. Okay, and the PowerPoint deck, I should say, and it's got instructions on what to do, but it's also got scripts there on what to say. We've also got a series of resources like handouts and other things that you can give out digitally or print it off, entirely up to you. But everything you need for that session or group of sessions is there for you. And you don't need to recreate the wheel. We've done it for you. So again, that download link is aka.ms/ICPK or Inclusive Classroom Parent Kit. Download that, run the info session, and switch your parents on to these amazing tools. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you got a lot out of this. I know there's a lot of information there, but don't forget, you can grab the slides with all the links at aka.ms/EduDayTroy, and then you can access everything that you want to access. But we're also going to make the videos available to you, all right, from today's sessions, so you can keep an eye out for that, and you can, download and share it with people and that kind of thing as well, and spread the word about the Inclusive Classroom. I hope I've ignited a little bit of a fire in you for these tools and for all that you can do this year in 2021 as you set up for success. Thanks for everything. Bye, everyone.